This is a Common Craft summary of the Odyssey by Homer, translated by Robert Fagles. This video is presented by Bryce, Hornbeck, and Trey and Howell. This story begins 10 years after the Battle of Troy. Odysseus is on an island named Ogygia, held captive by the nymph god Calypso. Odysseus and his crew are presumed dead by their home, Ithaca. A mob of suitors who have overrun Odysseus' palace continue to court his wife, Penelope. Odysseus longs to return to his wife and son, but has no way to escape. While the gods and goddesses discuss Odysseus' future, Hermes is sent by Zeus to tell Calypso to release Odysseus. Odysseus builds a ship and sets sail.
Meanwhile, Athena resolves to help Telemachus. Athena also prepares him for a great journey to Pylos and Sparta, where the kings Nestor and Menelaus, Odysseus' companions during the war, inform him that Odysseus is alive. Telemachus waits at Sparta, while, back in Ithaca, the suitors prepare in an ambush to kill him when he reaches port. Odysseus, after sailing for 18 days, faces a storm sent purposely by Poseidon, god of the sea. Poseidon still has a grudge against Odysseus for blinding his son, the Cyclops Polyphemus.
Odysseus washes up on Saphira. Nausicaa, the Phaeacian princess, shows him the royal palace. When he identifies himself as Odysseus, his hosts, who have heard of his exploits at Troy, are stunned. They promise to give him a safe passage to Ithaca, but first they beg to hear the story of his adventures. Odysseus spends the night describing a fantastic chain of events leading up to his arrival on Calypso's island. He recounts his trip to the land of the Lotus Eaters, his battle with the Polyphemus Cyclops, his love affair with the witch goddess Circe, his temptation by the deadly sirens, his journey into Hades to consult the prophet Tiresias, and his fight with the sea monsters Scylla.
After Odysseus finishes the story, the Phaeacians finally return Odysseus to Ithaca. When Odysseus returns to Ithaca, he runs into Athena, who disguises Odysseus as a beggar, and tells Odysseus to seek out the hut of his faithful swineherd, Eumaeus. Meanwhile, Athena goes to Sparta and tells Telemachus to return to Ithaca immediately. She tells him that when he arrives to go straight to the swineherd and to watch out because the suitors have planned an attack for his return. When Telemachus reaches the swineherd, Odysseus is there, still disguised. Telemachus asks Eumaeus to go to tell his mother he is all right. When Eumaeus leaves, Odysseus reveals himself. Telemachus does not recognize Odysseus, since he was only an infant when Odysseus left for Troy. Odysseus convinces Telemachus it's him, and they have a tearful, happy reunion. Telemachus fills Odysseus in on information about the suitors, and the father and son plot revenge.
Odysseus tells Telemachus to lock up the weapons at his palace. That way, when he takes revenge, the suitors will be defenseless. The next day, the suitors gather for a feast in Odysseus' palace. At the feast, Penelope organizes an archery contest and promises to marry any man who can fire an arrow through a row of 12 axes, a feat that only Odysseus has ever been able to accomplish. At the contest, each suitor tries to string a bow and fails. Odysseus steps up to the bow and with little effort fires an arrow through all 12 axes. Athena reveals his disguise and Odysseus turns the bow on the suitors. He and Telemachus, assisted by a few faithful servants, kill every last suitor. Odysseus reveals himself to the palace and reunites with his wife Penelope. He travels to the outskirts of Ithaca to see his aging father, Laertes. They come under attack from the family members of the dead suitors, but Laertes successfully spears a man in the head, puts a stop to an attack. Zeus dispatches Athena to restore peace. With his power secure and his family reunited, Odysseus' long ordeal comes to an end.